So I guess okay. So after all of that, once your guitar, you got it playing good, truss rod set, action set, all that. I will check the intonation.
The other one back? Or do you want to do this for Floyd?
Yeah. Sorry, I'll take the other guitar. Sorry, everybody. I'm making Zach get his calories burned today. Yeah, it's gonna be easier. Intonation on a Floyd Rose is very obnoxious, so we'll start with the easy one. But so the reason I do this last is because your action actually plays into your intonation. If your action's like way too high, it actually throws your intonation off. So you want to get it where it's playing.
Yeah, real
comfy.
quick. There's gonna be a couple people that don't even know what intonation means.
Yeah. So intonation is just the way I describe it is just the guitar, how well the guitar is in tune with itself. Because as you go higher, it'll actually be out of tune. It's just the nature of the guitar due to physics. Can't avoid that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
It is very unfortunate. It's a huge flaw in fretted instruments. There's a company called True Temperament frets.
It looks like someone was drunk making the.
Yeah, they're like squiggly bent frets, but they're the only guitars that have perfect intonation. It's like almost weird because our ears have actually been developed to be used to not proper intonation like overall. So
I heard the creator of that just passed away.
really,
Yeah.
oh man, yeah. Well, they left a great invention behind because I think all guitars should have those.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, they're a little pricey. At this point,
It's pricey, yeah, but man, it's such a weird. If you play with a keyboard player at all, you probably notice intonation issues. It sounds weird with the keyboard, even though you're in tune.
Yep.
That's intonation. It's just certain notes are not in tune with the guitar. So, so once you get everything adjusted, I would recommend getting kind of a decent tuner. I actually use an app on my phone. It's called Pitch Lab Lite, Lite. It's great. It's stupid accurate.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it's just a free app I got. It's like one of the best tuners I've ever used.
It works.
Obviously, you can't use it if you're live or something, but
Mhm.
you're probably not going to be adjusting intonation live anyway. So,
Hopefully not.
yeah. So what you do is you get your string in tune, open, just like that. You're going to do a harmonic on the 12th fret, and then take note of where that is in tune, like how that is on the tuner. Then you're going to actually press the 12th fret, and then you're going to compare those. The harmonic to the 12th fret. When you fret it, if it's sharp, so the note is sharper than the harmonic, you need to lengthen the string, so it's too short. So you're going to, down here, most guitars should have this. Right down here, there's a screw. You're going to, I think on this one, you're going to tighten the screw. That's going to pull the saddle back, going this way. That'll lengthen the string. You're going to have to retune the string each time you do that, so I'll check it. Oh, it's sharp. Adjust it. Retune it. Check the harmonic. Check it again. And you keep doing that till you get that 12th fret in tune with the harmonic. That's what you want. And you do that for all the strings. Pretty easy. A little tedious. You cannot do that on acoustic guitar, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks. If the intonation is off on the acoustic, you're just kind of stuck with that, unfortunately. I've seen like an add-on adjustable thing you can get for acoustic guitars. I've never used it before, so I can't really recommend it. I've seen them before, though. Usually, though, with acoustics, typically people are doing more like chords down here. Intonation doesn't really happen down here. It's on the higher frets. So, yeah, that's how you adjust intonation. On a Floyd Rose, there's a little Allen key that you have to unlock. Then you manually have to adjust it with the string detuned completely, which is super obnoxious. There is a tool, though, I can recommend. Let me grab it.
It's like I think I know what you're. What's it? Magic arm or something? Or
It's the key.
the key? Okay.
The key, ladies and gentlemen. This thing is great. Let's see if I can get a super close up on that. Yeah, this thing.
Nice.
This thing makes intonating on a Floyd like so much easier, and you can actually do it with the string tuned to pitch as well. You don't have to keep detuning it, manually adjusting it, tuning it back up, checking it. It just kind of like clips on, and then this is just like a little fine tuner key. We should do a Floyd Rose live stream one day, because there's so much to Floyd Roses. I get so many questions, and there's just so much misinformation about it. I don't want to get too far into that in this stream, just because.
Yeah, well, let's. That's a good idea. We'll definitely do. We can do another one on Floyd's, and then we can also like pretty much like the other floating trem. Because I've got the Music Man there too. If you need that, as you know.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much same.
Music Man has a weird bridge because it's like a Floyd. You got the two posts, but it's also got the individual strings you can adjust. So it's like so many adjustment options. But yeah, that's pretty much Intonation. It's super. It's not as scary as it sounds. So took me a while to like really understand it, but once I had the guy who taught me a lot of this stuff, he showed me the harmonic thing. I was like, oh, that's how you do it. Could never figure out how they were doing that. So Intonation, it shouldn't change too much unless you change tunings or string gauges, things like that. If you stick with a tuning and a particular string gauge you like, still check it over, but it usually doesn't change. I very rarely have to adjust my intonation.
This was something that popped up before. What's as far as tuning goes, what's like the range where as far as what you can get away with like maybe not setting something up, or like can you just go to drop D like from standard?
Oh, that's a good one.
Are you able to? Yeah, does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go to drop D, you're fine. I've even seen going down a half step be okay. Once you start getting lower than that and having to change string gauges, that's typically when you'll need to adjust it. But yeah, if you're one of those players who goes between like drop D and standard and stuff like that, you're fine. It's not going to ruin the guitar or anything.
Yeah.
And it's so close, the intonation is not going to be noticeable either. So yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be using your 9 gauge strings and go to drop, like C or something.
Yeah, I've had people want that, and it doesn't work, guys.
Yeah.
Trust me. I know a lot of people don't like thick strings, and I totally get that. Your thin strings, they're not going to work in low tunings, I promise you. It won't stay in tune. It won't intonate properly, which is a bummer because, I like thinner strings too, but there's a certain point where it's like I mostly play in drop C, so like I have to use thicker strings.
Yeah.
But I've just gotten so used to it over the years.
Yeah, well, I know my students will know, but I even use like hybrid sets where it's like the 9 gauge to a thicker bottom.
Yeah, those are great. I like those. Those are actually, they make more sense from a setup point of view, because you actually have proper tension on the lower strings.
Yeah.
A lot of times these will be too loose, and you'll get if you ever played a guitar that's tuned low with really thin strings, you get that wow, like that pitch bend. You don't want that. It just does not sound good.
That is a recording nightmare.
Man, yeah, I've been recording bands for like 3 years now. It's not fun.
Yeah.
So yeah. Any questions? I got a couple more things I can talk about, but
There are some questions that aren't necessarily related.
that's fine. Yeah, send them my way. Let's have fun.
We talked about this one a little bit before. The strap buttonhole got stripped. They get popped out.
Yeah, so you're talking about down here where the strap goes.
Yeah.
That I see that all the time. You want to know the secret? Put a toothpick in there, break it where it meets the body, and screw your screw back in. You're done.
That's it.
That's it.
There you go.
Just a toothpick.
See,
you don't need fancy
told you it was
tools.
a smart motherfucker.
I always tell people like you do
That's
not need
awesome.
fancy stuff. I promise you. Sometimes you might need like 2 toothpicks, but it works great, man.
When I was growing up, when I had to do that the first time, I was told I needed to like fill it with like wood glue and sawdust and and it's like
yeah, don't do that. Yeah, do not glue it, please. I've had people glue stuff in, and when they want to change it out, it is a nightmare to get out. So, it just helps the tech down the road, or helps you down the road. So, yeah, you want to avoid gluing things on a guitar. because I've seen some pretty wacky stuff glued in before. And my favorite was the somebody Loctited their input jack, and it broke, and I couldn't get it unscrewed. I'm like, yeah, I got to change the whole thing, dude, like the faceplate and everything, because they put Loctite on it. So please do not do that.
Yeah. Well, we got.
Yeah,
just curious, what brands have you been most impressed with, and what brands have you been? Has there been any brands in particular? I mean, that's a hard question. I feel like because it's depends on the years that they're built. And stuff.
Yeah. So are you talking about just for setups or for
Just
like?
for setups and just which ones have been like more impressive to you, like maybe build quality wise or just. I mean, I know you're an ESP guy.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Yeah, I'm an ESP fanboy, so of course I'm going to say ESP guitars. They seem to be very easy to set up, just the ones that I've had experience with. Schecters are nice. Newer Fender guitars, like the higher end Strats. Those are just so nice.
Yeah.
Really nice guitars. I've been seeing a lot of Kiesel guitars lately. A lot of my friends are starting to switch to those. Their build quality is excellent.
Yeah.
And when I have to adjust them, they just work.
Yeah. I have the carbon, but I've the Kiesels I've played.
Yeah, they're just like, I'm definitely, it's hard for me to not play an ESP just because I've been with them for like 20 something years, but I've definitely been interested in a Kiesel. So I'm trying to think what else. Nice guitars. I've seen so many guitars, man. It's really hard to say, but
I feel like I don't know if you maybe you've noticed a pattern, but it seems like now that there's like access to more technology, like 3D printing and all this stuff like that, it seems like more and more people are able to are kind of build, like there's more small builders.
Yeah, some of those are like so nice.
OD guitars, where they have like the routing work, like going through the body.
Yeah.
There's some crazy ones out there.
There's a company, I think it's called Ethereal Guitars.
Yep.
They're crazy looking guitars, but I think it's just a couple guys doing it,
Yeah.
if I remember right. Stupid expensive, but they look really nice. So, yeah, man. I've seen so many guitars. There's a lot of good ones out there. There's a lot of bad ones too.
Yeah. Which is the worst would be a hard question. Okay, so let's kind of make it easier maybe. What would be, like, on any guitar, what are the things that you notice that, like, maybe go bad all the time for people, and or like the parts to look out for, like crappy tuner,
crappy tuner heads for sure. The no brand ones are usually pretty terrible. Licensed Floyds and Floyd Rose specials.
This is hilarious. Sorry to interrupt, but Treadwell wanted to say that Gibson was trash, and Twitch was trying to censor it.
I mean, he's not wrong, unfortunately. The QC definitely went a little downhill on the newer ones, but we won't talk about that. I'm sorry, man. I totally forgot what you were asking me.
And I distracted you.
24th fret on the low E, so however many frets you have.
The final fret.
The final fret of your low E string. You're gonna take your mechanics rule here, and on the pickup, there's the you'll see the flat magnet and then the adjustable screw. You're gonna measure where the adjustable screw is because that one's typically a little higher. You're gonna put your just like you're measuring the fretboard action, so it's going to be the top of the magnet to the bottom of the string. You generally, as a starting point, want it at 6/64ths on the low E and 5/64ths on the high E, and I will do that for both pickups. So it's just this screw right here that you adjust. Do the low E, then the high E, raise it or lower it, depending on what you need to do. And then plug your guitar in. Just play it for a little bit, see how it sounds. Typically, when they're a little bit lower like that, it gives it a more open sound, more full. You get a little bit more sustain out of it. If you find that it's actually the opposite, like it sounds a little bit weaker, maybe a little muddy, then start raising it up. You can get too close with your pickups. You can get them so close that they'll actually pull on the string, and you'll get tuning issues just from the magnets alone.
I've had like a weird feedback kind of thing.
Yep, you'll get weird noises. It'll just be like way too sensitive of a pickup. So yeah, there's not really a magic number. I just start with 6/64 on the low end and then 5/64 on the high end, and just kind of go from there. As a total preference thing, the only exception if you play active pickups like EMGs, those you can actually get 1/64 away from the string, because those magnets are very weak since they have an internal preamp.
Okay.
So those, that would be the one instance you want them super close to the string.
Cool.
Yeah. Other than that, just kind of have fun experimenting with it. A lot of this is variable. You can, higher, lower things. Just experiment. Have fun with it. Once you get the swing of things, you'll start to recognize when things are off, when things are starting to be off. You'll probably save yourself a lot of money too.
Yeah.
So.
Sweet.
Yeah, I think that's all I got. I apologize if I missed anything, but
No, I think we covered a lot of the good stuff. That's like the important stuff for people.
Yeah,
you
just
don't need to do like the wiring diagrams and stuff right now. Right?
Yeah, I didn't. Sorry if you guys wanted to learn about that, but I wanted to touch on basic things that you don't need a lot of tools for. I don't want you guys going out and spending a ton of money. You really don't need to. I promise. Yeah. So.
Cool. Well, let's. There's just a couple quick questions.
Yeah. Final Q&A.
Yeah, there we go.
This is free for all. Ask away anything.
Yeah. So put any more too. So I've got 3 right here, but there might be a few more. Is it better to keep your guitar stored in a case or not?
Ooh.
And is it different if it's an acoustic?
Okay, that's a great question. Thank you for asking that, because that is something I forgot to touch on. So. The best way to store your guitar is in a hard shell case. That is the best way. Specifically, if you can get one manufactured specifically for your guitar, a lot of them are like molded to a guitar shape. Like they probably have a telly-shaped one like this. That's going to give your neck the proper support. It'll keep the humidity in. You'll avoid a ton of issues. Acoustics specifically. So one thing about acoustics,
humidity is more important for it.
So glad you asked this.
Okay.
Humidity, those are so prone to humidity issues, because obviously it's all open. There's a giant hole in there. Definitely gonna want to keep that in the case. The humidifier you want to buy, don't get the one that goes in between the strings. It's like a brick that goes in between the strings. That one sucks. All you're doing is humidifying the fur inside of the case. There's a company, I think Grover makes it. I'll have to double check, and maybe I'll send the link to Zack. It's like a green snake looking thing, but it's got a cover for the hole. So you soak the snake part, drain out the water, put it inside the guitar, and then it covers the hole. That keeps the humidity in. That's what you want. That thing is great. You just keep it in the case. It'll avoid so many issues. You won't get dust buildup on your guitars, anything like that. If you don't want to get a full-on hard shell case, there's a company called, I think, Roadrunner. It's like a hybrid. The outside is soft, but it's got an interior hard shell. That's a cool alternative if you don't want to. Because cases can get kind of expensive. I've seen them like upwards of $150, $200. Definitely a great investment, I promise. So, yeah.
Jeff was asking, what is the best Floyd then?
Oh, Floyd Rose original, in black.
Of course, right?
Everything must be black. No. But yeah, the original Floyd Rose. They just came out with the 1984 model, which is how they used to make them in the 80s. That one's really good too. It's got the big fat boy brass block with the brass tuner keys. That thing's great. I have that on my the guitar I actually got from Jeff.
Okay.
I put the 1984 bridge on it. It's great, man. It's so good.
That's fun. Cool.
So yeah, that's the best Floyd. in my opinion. Very expensive, but worth it.
Yeah, it was a little pricey. All right, and then this is just kind of like a fun one, but wondering what the stupidest or worst thing you've ever had to fix or seen in that regard.
Oh man.
If you want to think for a sec, I have one that I saw someone try and use part of gum wrappers as shielding. Like, in like literally the old Wrigley wrappers.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I've seen some weird stuff.
Yeah, that doesn't work, unfortunately.
Brought it in one time, it didn't work.
Yeah, stupidest ones. I don't know, man. I can tell you the dirtiest one I've ever
sure.
done.
Yeah.
There's a band called Born of Osiris.
Yep.
Somehow I ended up setting up their bass player's bass. I have no idea how that happened. Man, this thing, I had to put gloves on because there was like this green brown substance on the fretboard that was like the consistency was like maybe Play-Doh,
Oh God.
and I was like, what is this?
Yeah,
So I'm like, I'm gonna put gloves on because I'm pretty sure there was blood on the guitar too. I'm like, I don't know what that is,
Yeah.
but bloodborne pathogens.
yeah.
So so I took the naphtha, the Ronson that I showed you guys earlier, just to kind of get some of it off. It's not coming off, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to take steel wool to the fretboard, which I don't do that. I don't recommend that unless in this case I had to scrape this stuff off, and the steel wool was actually getting wet while I was doing this, and it smelled like beer and tobacco and just like sweat mixed together, and I was like, oh my God, that thing, just cleaning the fretboard took me an hour. Had to
That's no good, man.
deep clean it like 3 times, and then
Kinda gross,
yeah,
right?
set it up everything. But I was just like, that was probably the nastiest guitar I've ever seen in my life. I guess the other one, I've seen just like really bad like pickup installations, really bad soldering work. People just like,
Mhm.
I know we didn't get into soldering on this, but if you are going to solder, you don't need a lot of solder.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I've seen it like caked on to the point where it's like, I have to replace this, volume pot and everything because you just like nuked it. I
Soaked
can't even
it, yeah.
just soak it with solder. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd have to really think about that. But yeah, I've just seen more like nasty guitars,
Yeah.
just like because people don't know, they don't know how to take care of their guitars, which that's not their fault. It's not really talked about. So
Yeah. Yeah, the gross makes a lot more sense than like. the other
yeah.
one. Or I guess the other thing, like I could imagine there's a decent amount of people that do lazy work, trying to.
Yes.
And
yeah.
then you end up having to do extra.
I've seen setups come out of big guitar stores that I have to. I'm like, how did this even pass?
Mm-hmm.
You paid $100 for this. That's not cool. Yeah. So
Well, Lance, I'm glad you were able to come back in time to gag at that story. Twitch had a little goof up right after we said Gibson is trash, and it was like then we were offline. So
are you serious?
just for like a little sec.
That is amazing.
Right at that moment. Right, that's awesome.
They're always listening.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Play authentic or else.
I think this is like just something I think Gibson went a little wrong when they started buying so many extra things, like working for headphones and like doing some other. Like, they
Yes.
just focus on the
Yeah.
guitars.
Just because they were great at one point. They definitely had some. I've seen some really nice like '80s ones come through where I'm like, man, this is a nice guitar, and like you can just tell it's been like played and played and played and played and played, and just sounds great and feels great. So, what was I gonna say?
Yeah, they're listening.
Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention too. This is a total tangent. Sometimes with guitar setups, certain guitars just won't play to a certain like action that you like. You'll find like one guitar you can get the action really low, another one it won't do that. That happens. There's just certain guitars, they might have a warped neck or something, or a weird wiggle in the fretboard. Just get it set up the best you can. That's my advice. I have two of the exact same guitars, just different colors, and I can't set them up exactly the same. One of them has to have the action higher for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that does happen. Just something to be aware of. Not everything's going to be able to set up to, your magic number or whatever. Especially, you can't set up an acoustic like an electric guitar. It's just not going to work.
Right.
So just something to keep in mind when you're experimenting with this. I'm sure all of you have multiple guitars or different kind of guitars.
Yeah.
So same thing with basses too. It's going to be a different set of numbers. You just got to find what works for you and for the guitar itself.
Yep. If it sounds good, it is good, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Who cares?
That's a saying in audio production too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, people get too tied up on all the on the gear or on the whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and a good setup can make a guitar just so much better. It's a night and day difference. So,
yeah, it really is.
yeah, definitely a skill worth investing some time to learn how to do, even if it's just on your own guitars. It'll save you a lot of money in the long run. So, cool. Any last minute questions?
I'll scan the chat again one more time.
Yeah, just want to make sure everybody got their voices heard.
I feel like you did a really good job with that, so I appreciate you coming out for sure.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, and like I said, I'll put all of his social stuff and so you can get a hold of him.
Yeah,
up
please
there.
contact me if you guys think of something that you didn't get to ask today. I'm not gonna, it's not gonna bother me that you're messaging me. I love talking about guitar. I will do it all day, every day. I don't care. It's my life. So.
You bet, Lance. I'm glad you were able to swing by and we didn't get kidnapped by Gibson.
Yeah, that is so funny, man. Good old Gibson.
Yeah, so we'll have to do another one, something where any other questions and stuff like that, we could see what direction. But the Floyd thing could be cool. It'd be cool just to chat guitars and answer questions, whatever.
Yeah, I would love that. There's a lot of misinformation about Floyd, so that would definitely need a whole. Maybe I can even bring one of my guitars and
Sure.
I'll do it set up live like this, and you guys can just kind of see what I do with a Floyd Rose. So it's a little bit of a different procedure. So
very cool.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks everybody.
Yeah, enjoy the rest.
This is fun.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of your Saturday, everybody. Check out those sponsors if you're looking for that stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, have a good rest of your day.
Uh,
We'll talk soon.
Bye, everybody.